to CII series of conversations on the budget. Speaking to me today is Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII. Welcome, Mr. Banerjee. Let me start by asking you to describe the backdrop in which the budget is being presented. We all know that the pandemic has had a very adverse impact on the economy. How do you see this going ahead? Would you say that this is a critical budget to address some of the issues that industry is facing today?
Thanks, Vidisha. Thanks, and great to talk about this budget and the 2021 budget. If, as I see, is being presented at a time when the pandemic has really altered the entire economic paradigm and caused some severe economic disruptions like no other events in the past. And as a result, the economic activity has really slowed down considerably across most of the sectors of the economy. While the entire economy was affected in the initial period of the lockdown last year, the subsequent recovery has been sort of uneven across the sectors, with some sectors actually recovering much better than the others. And the reason why the coming budget, the February 1 budget, is going to be critical is that while the pent-up demand and festival demand have driven a sort of a good recovery, the budget would really need to ensure that this is a substantial one. GDP numbers are likely to look good in 2021-22. That's of course owing largely to the positive base effect. However, if investment expansion does not take place in the coming year, then we are likely to fall back to the moderate growth path. So the budget really needs to fire the critical engines of growth, and I would think growth and employment would be two big issues in the budget that would be game changers.
Okay, so what, in your view, should be the key priorities for the Union Budget 21-22?
So, I mean, really flowing from the last question, growth and employment generation, and I would think that's going to be typical and critical, on the top of our minds. And budget, this is a huge opportunity, as I see it, to set further the policy directions for deepening economic recovery and setting India to a high growth path, so to say. So, as at the Confederation of Indian Industry at CII, all of us are we think that growth and employment should be the key priorities for the forthcoming budget. And besides strengthening the healthcare system, which is very critical in today's time across the world, in any country, so should it be in our country today. In other words, we are looking for, we are looking at imperatives of lives, livelihood, and growth. Which incidentally is also the theme of CII for this year. And to achieve this, higher expenditure, I would say, will be very crucial. And sustained, high levels of growth, that's really the only way to make up for the losses caused by the pandemic in the earlier days, and for also, of course, generating employment, which is going to be so very critical, really to meet the aspirations of our youth, of the young India, so to say. As the other point is, as private consumption, investments, exports, all are sluggish at this point. The burden of reviving growth really falls onto the public investment, at least in the immediate term. So that would be very critical. And the government, therefore, must really step up spending on infrastructure, which is one of the highest multipliers, as you know. And CII has suggested prioritization of infrastructure and healthcare sectors, these two to be very critical. And infrastructure spend has, again, one of the highest multiplier effects, as I said, on the economy. And this, this could be increased by 1% of the GDP, including higher allocations for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. So that will be very critical. And also, the pandemic has really highlighted some of the inadequacies of our health system, and therefore, I would imagine that the budget should really spell out a roadmap for raising public health expenditure to what we are saying from CII is 3% of the GDP by 2025. including expenditure on physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure for effective implementation of the National Digital Health Mission, and also, of course, very importantly, training infrastructure.
Thank you. How can the government create fiscal space for higher public investment? Because the government is fiscally constrained, as we know.
Yeah, so actually, this is a very important, and we have from CII, as you know, we have been talking about a lot of prudence that needs to be exercised, and or given the steep fall in tax revenues, the government does face some very strong fiscal constraints, and for fulfilling the objective of growth and simultaneously managing deficit, what we have been recommending again from CII that fiscal consolidation be looked at from a 3-year perspective, and basically to reassure the rating agencies and also, of course, the investors, the fiscal target for the next 1 year must be and should be very realistic based on some pragmatic recovery estimates, And last year, if you see, the budget had listed off-budget expenditures and its financing as an annexure. And it was a welcome move towards fiscal transparency. So building on this, the forthcoming budget should lay down fiscal consolidation path based on realistic revenue projections and realistic cost estimation of the various schemes that we have. And in addition, account fully for borrowing for food subsidies and avoid off-budget borrowing. So that's going to be something which is going to be very important to look out for. And for raising revenues to finance growth, what we have suggested is an aggressive disinvestment of loss-making and profit-making PSUs. And to get better valuations, which is often a concern, government could continue actually to announce a list of PSUs where it intends to bring down its holding to below 51%. That's going to be, again, very, very important. The other point, of course, monetization of assets such as surplus land and building, roads, transmission lines, airports, power plants, all of this, this could be another source of very strong and very significant revenue. And the proceeds should really be, if one can say, ring-fenced for asset creation.
You mentioned employment creation as one of the priorities. How could the government address the challenge of employment creation?
So yes, so that is going to be one of the top things to look out for as to how we are going to in the budget on 1st February, as the finance minister presents. Is that something that we are going to all really look out for? And higher expenditure on infrastructure will generate employment in the construction sector, say, for instance, which is really the second highest employer after agriculture. So in terms of direct support to employment generation, what we have been suggesting is that, the raising the cap under the section 80JJAA from 25,000 that we have in the 25,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees, So section 80JJAA really provides for deduction of 30% on emoluments paid to new employees for that's for a period of 3 years. This is currently available up to an emolument of 25,000 rupees. 25,000 rupees per month. So contribution to to employers, on ESIC, where the employer's contribution is 3%, that could be really looked into. And this would apply to new employees who have been enrolled from the 1st of April 2021. And also similarly for the rural and the semi-rural areas, Manrega allocation, that would be very, very critical. That should be kept at about, say, we have been talking about 1 lakh crore. So that's one way of looking. These are some ways where we can see employment, which really is going to be a very critical thing to look out for in the budget, can be enhanced.